She just kept gasping for breath. She just kept gasping for breath, and so I couldn't just leave her there to die. These are the words of the nurse who defiantly rushed Melissa Oden to the NICU unit after a failed saline infusion abortion. Melissa had been left on a cold table to die an agonizing death, but despite protests, her life was rescued. People claim that circumstances such as this do not exist, but Melissa is now living proof that they do. There's a battle raging in Capitol Hill over infanticide. We are no longer fighting for the preborn, but the newborn as well. In this speech, I'd like to share how infanticide, America's rising terror, is unethical, unconstitutional, but not unstoppable. Infanticide, or abortion after birth, is the act of finishing the job on a failed abortion. Hundreds of babies a year are delivered alive, gasping for breath, and pushed aside with no medical attention until they eventually die. Women attempt to take the same arguments for abortion and relate them to abortion after birth, conveying it as a needed ethical service. One of the most frequent arguments is my body, my choice. And while this statement is already false in regards to abortion, it's even more faulty when applied to infanticide. When a human being has been born and separated from its mother, it is no longer dependent on the mother for survival. It's not her body, her choice. It is her child, her responsibility. It is not her body that will be affected. It's her life. The cost, lack of freedom, and in some circumstances, the judgment that comes with an unwanted pregnancy is all women can concentrate on. These overbearing thoughts block out her baby's first cry. They obstruct any excitement in hearing that it's a little girl, and they shut out the knowledge that there are families readily available to adopt her baby. Just because the parent's life might be altered does not suggest the baby's life should be ended. According to Life News, a woman was returning to an abortion mill to have an unsuccessful abortion completed when she questioned the doctor. "What if my baby survives? What will happen?" The doctor calmly replied, "That won't happen, because if the baby survives, we will break its neck." This is the scarring ideology behind infanticide. In the past, infanticide has generally been considered an international issue. Asian countries in particular are known for their barbaric genocide that has resulted in the deaths of millions of little girls. You would think that infanticide, as horrendous as it is, wouldn't spread to countries free of these restrictive laws. But it has. This cruel practice is no longer segregated internationally. It has risen to a reality in America. America, land of the free. Our Declaration of Independence states that everyone should have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The fight for liberty and happiness is not uncommon to us, and the fight for life of the unborn has been raging for years now. But how sad it is that we now have to defend the simple right for the born to have life. Infanticide goes directly against the U.S. Constitution, a document created to protect its citizens. The beginning of that text reveals what argument the opposing side uses when defending infanticide. Everyone or every person should have the right. The crutch pro-choice proponents lean on is personhood. When does a human become a person? It used to be at conception. then viability, and then once the baby was born. But now, our future generation is not even guaranteed life once they've entered the world. Anyone who is considered to have a less than perfect life, such as babies born with defects or Down syndrome, patients in a coma, and people suffering from Alzheimer's, are now being labeled human non-persons. They are living humans, but not a person. They're considered non-valuable. Therefore, they are deemed expendable. Interestingly, infanticide, along with all right-to-life issues, falls under most of the U.S. state statutes and criminal codes classification of murder. For instance, Indiana's designation of murder is someone who knowingly or intentionally kills another human being, not someone who kills a person, a human. This clearly labels abortion, euthanasia, and infanticide as murder. Nothing less. Infants who survive abortions have been given a miraculous second chance at life. Melissa Oden, now the founder of the Abortion Survivors Network, was finishing her story on a Focus on the Family podcast when she concluded. By the grace of God, a nurse was willing to put her job on the line that day, rushed me off to the NIC unit. My life should never have been left to the luck of the draw who was working that day. God knew. God blessed me. But how many children aren't that fortunate?